Hey, what's going on everyone? Hope you're doing well. Philippe back here. Thanks so much for tuning back into the channel. I really appreciate it. Today's video is going to be a topic I've wanted to cover for a while, and to be honest, I don't know why I haven't made the video yet, because I've wanted to make it for ages. And the topic is 2 mistakes every beginner makes in their calisthenics journey. Although it's not just beginners, I see it all the time, even intermediate athletes, not really advanced, because by that point you would have made the mistake so many times you should have learned from them. So yeah, but this video is to help you recognize these 2 really important things, and if you understand it as a beginner, you're going to progress so much faster in your journey. And yeah, I just learned it too late, and I really wish I knew it earlier, so hopefully I can give this information to you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So the first mistake is going to be picking too many skills all at once. Now, calisthenics is a very exciting sport, and it's so overwhelming when you see it on social media. You're like, oh my god, this guy's doing planche, front lever, one arm handstand, multis, he's doing dynamics, muscle ups, and it's so overwhelming, and you're like, I want to do it all. But you can. And the guy that does post that, he's been doing it for several years, and he's focused on 1 skill at a time, or maybe 2 skills at a time, and that's what you should do. Now, in the beginning, I have that sort of mindset where when I see somebody else do it, I'm like, well, I want to do that too, and I want to be the best, not to compete. I'm not that competitive against other people, but just within myself. If I can see somebody else can do it, I'm like, well, I can do it. So I really try push myself to the limit and try achieve those results. And in the beginning, I was focusing on like 4 or 5 things all at once, and I was constantly tired. I was never recovering, and some took a lot longer than others. For example, the front lever took me 8 months, and that's not the best progression, because I have students across the world that I coach online, and they learn the front lever within 12 weeks, some even 6 or 8 weeks, the ones that have a really strong foundation. And that's what you should really focus on, is just building an amazing foundation and not rushing to go to the skills, and just really knuckling down on the ones you really want. Things like planche takes a long time, so if you do want this skill, focus on that. And then maybe any other skill you want, put it as secondary. Maybe a muscle up, just kind of have it on in the background. Don't overdo it. And once you get the muscle up, then pick another skill. And as the skills get harder, as you get stronger, you won't lose those skills, because you would have gained all this amount of strength. So for example, in my journey, all of last year, all I did was planche. Sometimes I did front lever, and halfway through the year I did pick up my front lever a lot more, and I started focusing on combinations. So then I did progress in it, but I really just focused on planche. Didn't do a muscle up. I maybe did like 4 muscle ups in the entire year, and every time I went to do it, it still looked how it did before I stopped training it. And same with like handstand push-ups. I don't focus on it too much. I used it just as a strengthening exercise for the planche. So this is just kind of like an example of how I trained in the past, and how you should think about your training. So when you're picking a skill, pick one, stick with it, strengthen it, get it until you have it, and then move on to other skills. And the second mistake, and this is the one that you probably make if you clicked on this video. I even see my beautiful girlfriend doing this mistake, and she's pretty damn good, but everybody makes this mistake. Intermediate athletes, even people that come to me fresh, when they start coaching with me, I see them make the mistake, and I have to sit them down. Hey, slow down. It's not all go all at once, and the mistake is not understanding intensities. So when you're training, you do your maximum. Let's say you have a great session. You just did 3 muscle ups, pretty clean form. Then you went to handstand push-ups. Maybe you got 5 reps. And then, you did your rest of the workout, the strengthening stuff. And you're like, yeah, that felt like a great session. Then you go to do it again the next day, and you're like, damn, I can't even do one muscle up. I couldn't even hold the handstand, but I don't feel that sore. I don't feel, I don't feel like that weak. And you're like, what's going on? And it's because it's internal fatigue. Calisthenics involves the central nervous system, which is our nervous system. It's everything, right? So if that's fatigued, if that's down, you don't necessarily feel it, over time as you progress and as you learn to listen to your body, you will feel it more and more and you will understand. So for example, for me, if I get mid back to lower back pain during the day, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty fatigued. I can feel it there and I know that is connected to everything. So I'm like, I should probably take it easy for a couple of days and really recharge. And when that feels good and I can feel, a skip in my step, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to train maximum power. But yeah, the more you progress, the more harder trainings you have, you realize I can't train like that all the time. So majority of the time you have to have a baseline of training. So kind of like running, for example. A runner doesn't run, their fastest, their longest every single run, even though they know they could, but they're gonna burn out. They have a baseline of their runs called the easy runs, where they're just building their aerobic base. Here in calisthenics, you're building your strength base. So yeah, okay, if your maximum is a muscle up and a handstand push-up, then maybe just focus on elevated pike push-ups on your base training, explosive pull-ups or banded muscle-ups or negative muscle-ups, something like that, and just focus on the strengthening. Again, just build up those basics like crazy. And the goal of these trainings is to feel good. If you go to your training sessions and you're like, oh my God, I'm in such a bad mood, I'm tired, I don't know what's going on, then it's probably because you're asking too much of your body. But when you do less than what you think you should put the body through, then it will reward you with those endorphins and you will feel great. And so, whenever I go to these sessions, I always feel like, fuck yeah, like I felt like I had a really great session. I feel like I got a good pump. But before, I used to make the mistake, I used to try things too hard for me. I'd be like, I'd be in the worst mood, then you go on social media and you see these guys doing crazy things and you're like, oh my God. And you shouldn't compare yourself, but you just feel like a bit down because you feel like, damn, I had a really bad training today and other people are killing it, and it's just because, no, I'm rambling on.
No, you're literally hitting me.
Nah, but I
literally feel so dumb.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in the video. Chloe's here, right? She's like, damn, I feel like I was rambling on a little bit, but you understand. It's not about comparing yourself to others, but being better than yesterday. And sometimes being better than yesterday doesn't mean doing the maximum, and for example, when people train with me, they think like, oh wow, he's just doing skills and combos the whole time. It looks like, he's constantly just like doing loads of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but to me, that's a lot easier because the real difficult things, when I do them, I'm like, shit, I know I can't do that 4 or 5 more times, maybe 2 or 3 more times, and then I'm probably gonna get really tired. So I'll just do, 2 or 3 attempts of whatever I'm trying, and then I'll go into all the strengthening stuff, all the things I'm really comfortable with. And yeah, so my future vlogs and trainings can hopefully help you understand this. I'm definitely going to try to section the workouts in a certain way where you can understand this. But yeah, take that away with you. And if you understand it now, and if you are a beginner, then your body's going to thank you so much, because that way you'll be able to be more consistent, you'll be able to train more often, and that way you'll make more progress. Because what's the point in doing 4 sessions where you absolutely kill yourself, you only get 1 good one, the other 3, you're in a bad mood, you're miserable, and you feel really down about your training? You're not going to get much of it, because then you're probably going to take more days off in the next week, so then you'll probably only train 2 or 3 times. Yeah, you'll have 1 good session again, but the others will be bad. Whereas if you have 1 good one and then be like, I know I did my maximum there. Okay, the others, on purpose, let's hold back. Let's be humble and patient about it. Let's hold back. I know my maximum power, but I don't need to show and prove that to myself. and then you go away to that session, and then you go and train, and you do your strengthening, you do your stuff you're comfortable with, and over time your light day will be like your previous version of yourself, like a dream day. For example, I trained today and I was like, God, like not even a year ago that would be like an intense session, and especially 2 years ago I'd only dream of doing the stuff I now consider easy and light, and then it's because the hard trainings are so much more intense. You have a bigger like a bigger gap to play with. You can scale it back a lot more, and that way it can still look impressive, or it can look flashy, but it's not meant to be. You're trying to build your endurance, because calisthenics in the beginning, it's strength. You need to strengthen the body, but over time it's all endurance. It's just muscular endurance, because when you get full planche, when you get full planche push-ups, then it's not necessarily more about gaining strength, it's more about gaining endurance to get more reps so that you can then have cleaner form, things like that, but that's another topic, more in-depth topic. And yeah, that's all I've wanted to share with you. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I try to edit it in a fun way where you don't get too bored, because I know I am just speaking about this topic, and I really appreciate all your support. I always love your comments, and I'm just very grateful for all of you. Hopefully you can take something from this video, although it's just 2 simple tips, but they're kind of complicated, especially if you don't think about it. And if you watch this and you're like, I still don't understand, you will in a few months. When you've made the mistake so many times, you can come back to this video and you can be like, now I know what this guy's telling me, and now my training feels better. And yeah, the people that, like I have experience coaching this too. And whenever I teach my students to apply this stuff, then they're like, oh my God, my training is so much better. I'm in a better mindset. I'm always in a good mood, because you're training to feel good, not to impress anybody else. And that's usually why you go too hard, is because you're trying to do it for someone else, or maybe, you just have a really big ego. So just tone it down a bit, take a step back. This is almost like a video note to a past version of myself I wish I was able to see. So that's everything I wanted to cover. And if you are interested in having a training routine to follow to help you explain this stuff, then check out my website. And if you do want to sign up for coaching, then be sure to fill out an application form, which is on the link in the description, and I'll be happy to help you, happy to guide you along your calisthenics journey. Now that's everything from me. I'll see you in the next video. I really look forward to it. It's gonna be a good one. Ciao.